Hey, greetings YouTube. No, I didn't go to Home Depot and rent this machine. This machine was left at my friend's repair shop, and apparently the guy had gotten it through a sale at Home Depot. I guess Home Depot sells the rentals off occasionally. I don't even see them renting this style of machine. It's quite actually old. So yeah, that's how this machine came to be. Now, the reason my friend contacted me is it's in decent condition for its age and being a rental machine. Like, the wheels aren't worn out, the cord's not run over, all these stickers seem to be intact. So kind of a cool feature of this rental machine is it has an hour timer. Now, this machine has already been taken apart and professionally diagnosed by one of the few people who I would trust their word on it. And we can see the pump is not in particularly good condition. It's a Model C4 Kent. I can see that there's a badge up here. It's hard to get this whole thing in frame. I'm sorry about that, but it's fucking big. And I can either give you good small shots, or I can give you a big shot from a GoPro that's kind of crappy. I think you'll prefer this. So we got some wiring. All this has got quick connectors on it. It's all really nice the way this is put together, actually. All right. It's cold in the shop, so if I'm sniffling or whatever, it's because it's cold and I'm trying not to freak out here. So one thing I've already done is I've already pulled several things out from inside this nozzle. It amazes me what is stuck in here. It's like bending my screwdriver. I should use it. Try it. Let's try a bigger screwdriver. Anyways, so that's kind of baffled me that this is what's gone on, is what's been stuck in here. I pulled like bits of plastic, all sorts of rando things out of here. And I thought I had finished that, but apparently not. And this is not just hair in here. This has got to be something else. There's something like I got a finishing nail stuck in there. Let's get to the motor replacement. Find it interesting that not all the screws are the same. There's Phillips here and flathead here. I'm not sure why that is, but we're gonna find out and see. Oh, that's just gonna come out. There's almost no torque in there. I wonder if my friend Reggie had this out and then put it back together. Oh, they're both same color. Let's do this, see what's in here. All right, well, got a metal bracket there. Jolly. So we got our metal brackets. And they appear to be the same. That's kind of cool. So now the motor should just drop out. Let's see. We got a gasket here. We'll need to clean that off a little bit later. Set that aside. There's a hose clamp right here. So we'll get that one off. Break that seal. And that should... Whoa! That just came right out of there. All right. On a broken plastic piece. I guess presumably when this motor killed itself, it probably rotated it around. Oh, it's got a 1008 on here, so at some point this has been replaced. Got these motor leads going up here. Yeah, everything's kind of brittle and nasty. Actually, that looks like it was unnecessary. My bad. There's quick disconnects right here that I missed, and I apologize about that. They were kind of hidden out of sight. Oh, I guess they're not such quick disconnects. These look like they're the heat shrink kind, which makes me wonder if they were heat shrink on here for some sort of waterproofing or something. They're real brittle. Interesting choice. The ground is separate. This is going to need to be washed. Even though it's broken on the edge, I'm still going to reuse it. It'll be fine. They'll need to be washed. So all these bolts, they're 7/16, or you can use an 11 millimeter. I don't personally have a lot of SAE crap laying around. I don't know why companies, again, as new as this, would even use that, other than they got some deal on the hardware or something. It always frustrates me. Oh, and these are lock washers. That's kind of interesting. Nothing is particularly on here tight, which tells me everything was kind of probably rattled loose. There's spacers, and all this stuff seems to be stainless steel hardware, which is good construction. Always like to see that. Yeah, we got plenty of washers. Good stuff so far. I'm going to take this all off. I got a solution for that. Give it a little bit of heat. All right. That's particularly nasty. Actually, it doesn't look like it was glued in place so much as just stuck on there. Like it dissolved, started to rot there. You can see all the oomph in the motor. Yep, and the motor's got a date code of 08. Well, that's trash. So now we're left with some pieces that are kind of nasty. I'm gonna go wash these, and we'll turn the camera back on when I'm done with that. So part of cleaning this machine up, I've done a few things here. There's a bolt that goes across here. I've removed that. I wanted to wash all this stuff because it's pretty nasty. And it looks like somebody had turned this into Silicone Sally at some point. And there's just a gross amount of silicone on this, which we can put new silicone on. That's easy to do, but it seems like an obsessive amount. Like there's half a caulk tube in here for some reason. Maybe that's the way these came from the factory. I don't really know. What I don't like, by the way, this unscrews. And again, there's caulk and it's really messy, so it makes me think that some Home Depot employee probably did this. But this right here, ooh, this is so nasty it needs to be washed. Ugh, that's just gross. So we're going to, again, wash this stuff. And after washing it, we'll see the status of this gasket. It might need to be replaced as well. So it's just something I want to show. It's kind of an important step. I kind of want to wash these hoses too, why I have them apart. And maybe we'll do that. Let's get these hoses out of here and wash them. That hose is really nasty. That can be washed. It looks like the tool hose has been glued in place too, so we'll deal with that as well. It's just lovely what certain people do to their equipment. There's nothing like fresh parts out of the dishwasher. Yeah. Or steam. Oh, that's as good as that's gonna be. Whew. Well, that was smart. Right up on the floor. Ugh. That might need to get rinsed out. But that took care of a lot of our... This was so nasty before. That takes care of a lot of that. And our hoses are now flexible, and that looks way better. So after everything was in the dishwasher, made all the gaskets really soft and mushy and pliable. So I don't think I'm gonna have to replace any of the gaskets I thought. I was going to have to, which is a good thing. You can see most of the silicone came right off. The other thing I did was after I put together and tested it, it was sucking a lot of water through here, so I made a small splash guard out of a piece of Kydex I had laying around, so we'll see if that helps. I also re-siliconed this section. I see why now this was siliconed, is the dirty water and the clean water could leach into each other, so I wanted to make sure that was done. Well, I don't think we're going to need any silicone. Looking at this, this is a solid taper fitting, which means the more you twist it, the tighter it gets. So, really funny that they put silicone on that. That was unnecessary. So this, when it goes in, you're going to see it line up there. And then you're going to see this guy needs to line up back there. And keep in mind he's going to have this little thing on him. And we'll need to put some silicone or something to hold this in place. We'll worry about him later. So let's lower him onto his platform. And everything is very nicely spaced and with washers and stuff. And if there's corrosion on this, you can wipe it off. It really doesn't matter. These are aluminum. And this is all from the previous motor. Something I noticed when I was taking it apart is everything is nicely sandwiched together with washers, so make sure when you're putting this together you don't lose any of these and you put it together in the same fashion. Something that doesn't give me the warm and fuzzies about this is the difference between the wire gauge between these. I mean, it's asinine how thin this is. Again, really doesn't give me the warm and fuzzies, but I am going to have to work with what I have. Now these are pretty much destroyed, these quick disconnects. For whatever reason over the years, so I'm going to end up wire nutting them. But if you can use quick disconnects or yours are in better condition, definitely do that. But I just wanted to note that. Also wanted to note, I neglected to mention that you want to definitely make sure you reattach the ground wire to the motor. I started putting this back together and they sound horrible when I turned it on. It turns out that my motor has a small dent right there. Which probably happened in shipping. Also, the gasket they use doesn't fully support the motor like a rug doctor. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up putting just a slightly thicker washer in, or an extra washer, probably an extra washer, just to boost this up so it doesn't push down on the fan too much. After a little bit of struggling, there's the shroud, the wires. Like I said, this part broke off, but this is supposed to clip in like that. All right, let's connect this. One of these ground leads goes to the pump, so we'll worry about that later. We'll just put that in. Everything seems to be kind of just like a afterthought in terms of where it went, so this is kind of old school type of engineering, how everything goes together. So as you're putting things together, make sure none of the wires or plumbing is stuck in as you put this on. And then you're going to put these two brackets on. I'm going to set mine on the side. I think that will make this easier. Lining everything up, and again, just kind of understand how everything kind of goes into place. I'm going to give it a love tap. There we go. And then we're going to put these brackets on. Like so. And these are machine screws. I'm going to just make sure nothing locks up again, in case I have to do this again or take this motor out or something that isn't right. Put just a little bit of oil on there. If you have an extra screw this size and they're rusted like that, you could also replace it. And these fit in there pretty snug. The rear ones do not fit in nearly as snug. They are a Phillips, so be careful with those. Again, they all have lock washers on them, so you really don't have to worry about them once they're snug. They're not going to vibrate loose. That all looks great. Let's start putting things back together, wiring them up how they should go. So we got our 2 pump wires over here. Don't mix those up. And if you mix them up, well, I guess you'll know. Again, mine are real messed up. So I'm going to do 2 things. One, we're going to unzip tie these. 2, we're going to do this. There's a V. There's like a little V label. Don't know what that is. We're just going to go carry him up. I need to order myself a better pair of wire strippers. Again, if you have quick disconnects, use them. I'd like to mention anytime you're putting wire nuts on a machine that vibrates like this, it's important to put some electrical tape on them or use the shrink nut versions so they don't vibrate loose. So that's how we put the motor on. Now we can connect the tools just to get that out of the way. Now when you're putting the motor back in, there's one of these guys. Just make sure you get him flush enough, and then you can tighten him up. Don't over tighten him. Let's put the cover back on. Oh, by the way, this extra guy from the pump, it goes on that side. And all the hardware is really nicely put together on this machine in terms of the pairings. You got, you know, your lock washer and your regular washer all put together nicely. So when you're doing that, make sure you put all that stuff back. Oh, all right. And you'll need to adjust this piece on here. Connect that. And there's a lot of play in this when you're doing this. If you can clean this with a toothbrush and some water, definitely do so. I did so. This looks much better. The seams really hold a lot of dirt, and with them telling customers to use the dirty water to fill the clean water, which for the love of God don't do, definitely clean that out. Another little touch you can do is you can take the belt and just put some bar soap on it, like I'm doing, turning the brush by hand. This will quiet things down between the geared belt drive. Also make sure these screws are tight because this is just a clip-on cover. One other thing I'm going to do by hand here is there are just some sharp edges on here. I'm just going to take a little bit of 400 grit sandpaper and just make sure any of those sharp edges are no more. Well, let's test the machine out. Okay, we have a fill indicator right here. That's kind of cool. Right there. So let's see. It's going to be loud. carpet really dry afterwards. There's probably no getting out the grease stains that are on this carpet, but hell, rather impressed. Well, I sure hope this has helped you repair one of these, or at least satisfied your curiosity with how these are made. They're super duty industrial, well made. Again, not the most modern of techniques. So if you got something out of this, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, hit that bell notification to see our latest videos as they appear. Right now we're going to ring that bell notification twice a week. Have yourself a wonderful day.